Matt, thank you for coming. You're a pro when it comes to live stream.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
And live stream is a big content topic. Let's say that got very trendy in the last few years, especially because of the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you see that coming?
Yeah, I mean, I guess once the pandemic started, it was the only option. And I guess that's what really put me full steam into it. I had a bit of experience working for a broadcast company before. So I was around it and saw how it worked on a really high level. And then through my job running this college radio station, usually doing events, we had to find an alternative method. So streaming was, at the time, March 2020 was the only option. So we started running some workshops and of course DJ sets like a lot of people, and it really sort of opened my eyes to this world and possibilities of streaming, I guess through necessity, but from that there's a lot more opportunity beyond just we have to do this now. Now it's something that can actually it opened the door to all kinds of possibilities moving forward past this pandemic, which hopefully we get past it.
Do you see in this sense, companies using that regularly now, and do you think it will stay? Let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think again, people had to do it, and now it was kind of happening before, but in more of a like for conferences and really on higher end things, whereas from this now, a lot of smaller companies and a lot of independent companies are doing this to access wider audiences. And although I'd say the DJ streams are probably a bit, people are sort of just sick of them, I guess. They want to go actually experience the music now. So maybe people are getting bored of this. There's still possibilities there, but I think it will stay, and I think there's a lot of ways it can be used, especially with hybrid events, to really help companies get their message out, or to access new people, to let more people into what they're doing. It's just all access pass to the world, really.
Do you have maybe little examples of like for the, let's say, marketing side, company, corporate side, of live stream, of good ideas, let's say, of
I've seen companies have launching new products, or having discussions, or inviting industry professionals, having dialogues. There's a lot of creative ways you can have something where you can broadcast it on YouTube or on your own website, or on Zoom or whatever. There's so many outlets these days. And you can also have a live audience there. And with that, you can reach internationally, you can reach new audiences, as well as having an interactive experience with people there live in person. And there's also ways you can have interactive experiences with people online through the chats, or they can control things, or they can select things, or there's workshops and breakout rooms and stuff like this. And when you deliver it at a professional grade, it really can help people get on board with a new company, or then not even a new company, old company, whatever. It's just a really great way to interact with new audiences, and old.
And on the topic of platforms, let's say, and platforms, because the first things I think about are like social media and like YouTube, Facebook. That's where you can do easily live stream, but it's not only that. It's also some platforms doing that like professionally with breakout rooms and all. And then what are the different options in a way?
There's loads of new ones, even ones that I don't even know about. I keep seeing random things popping up here and there. But of course, there's I guess Facebook was the early ones doing it. They made it super easy, where you just click Go Live. You can do it with your webcam, or you can get a bit more professional or entry-level gear and do a higher quality stream. But that was almost one click away. And with YouTube and Twitch, Twitch is a huge platform now for just content creators. You got people playing video games, you got musicians, you got tutorials, you got everything and anything. It's incredible what's out there and how many viewers are watching these things. You know, I'm seeing 80,000 people watching someone play a video game. It's crazy, and these guys are, you know, I mean, as a content creator, you can make a lot of money if you're creating good content. You know, that's the big step. You can stream, but you need to also have a good content creation. But those are the main popular ones: Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. Zoom, of course, has been probably the most widely used one for businesses and companies and schools. Then there's what's it called? Theta, I think, which is like a decentralized blockchain streaming service, which is growing in popularity. I know TikTok's doing some live streaming. I'm not too experienced with TikTok, but yeah, I mean, video content, there's just so many outlets out there. There's probably tons I can't even think of right now. But I'm being introduced to new ones all the time, and there's platforms like Restream, which allows you to stream across all of these platforms based on your membership level. You know, they start with 2 channels, and you can go all the way to, you know, professional corporate grade where you can get all these channels, and there's things I don't even know what they are.
So with Restream, you send, like, you broadcast to one platform to Restream, and then they
you connect your accounts to various different platforms, and it all goes out at the same time. Yeah, it's quite powerful. There are some limitations and bugs with it, but they're working on it, and it's a nice service for someone who doesn't know how to, you know, restream yourself. I have a few hacks that I can do where I can just use different encoders, but that gets a bit more complicated. The Restream takes the complications out, and it makes it one click, and you're good to go.
Sure, nice. Tell me, Matt, there are many ways, I think, to create a live stream. What big steps are involved, and what are different possibilities?
It's a funny thing because it can be super easy. It can also be super complicated. It depends exactly what you want to do. But I guess boiling it down to the most basic thing, the 2 main things you need, of course, is audio and video. So this can be as simple as your laptop mic with the camera there, and that's you just click go live, you're good to go. This can also be multiple cameras with switchers, or you need a video capture card. There's various levels of this. Audio, it's a similar thing, except instead of a capture card, you need a sound card. So those are the main hardware bits to start your stream. Then from there, you need not always some software. I mean, things like Facebook and YouTube, they have their own control centers, but it's limited what you can do there, and you can only use one webcam and one audio source when you're doing this. Not the best, but the main software people use is OBS, which stands for Open Broadcast Software. It's completely free software. The source code is available. People are always working on it. It's an incredible software designed particularly for live streaming, and on that you can do all kinds of things, adding texts and visuals and lower thirds and cutscenes, and do kinds of different effects with sweeping depending on what you want to do. On there you control your audio and your video inputs based on what exactly you're doing. So then from OBS, you need to decide where you're going to stream it to, whether it's YouTube or Facebook. You can connect it to Zoom now using a virtual cam on OBS, which Zoom just reads as a webcam. So you can do all your controls in OBS and then get a presentation on Zoom, really professional grade. Or whether you're going to Twitch or to wherever you're going, you use OBS to connect to that. And then probably the most important thing is a strong, stable, fast internet connection. You can do it with Wi-Fi, but I would not recommend it because Wi-Fi drops out, it's not stable, there's all kinds of things that can interrupt it. So if you're streaming, it's always advisable to use a hardwire Ethernet connection. And yeah, you want to run a speed test, which there's different services online. If you Google speed test, you can check your speeds. And so I'd say a minimum of 10 megabytes upload is safe. Depending on your settings, you could probably get down to 5, but you want some buffer there. Going into settings like the bit rate and the audio quality and the resolution, it's a deep topic and hard to sort of lightly touch over, but these things do affect how much bandwidth you need to send, because it's how much the quality of your video and your sound and your frames per second all contribute to how much bandwidth you need. So the higher the quality, the more information being sent, the faster connection you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we're already touching on one point to be careful about, which is internet connection.
Yeah.
Do you have other things to be careful about doing a live stream?
Yeah, many. I mean, I always say it's the most important part is the preparation. The more preparation you can have, the more conversation you can have with your client or your partners or your colleagues, whoever you're working with. You want to have everything super clear. You want to have all the necessary graphics, all the names, all the necessary text. If you're posting something on Facebook or YouTube, you need to have your titles right, your descriptions correct, getting a good show flow. So you really know what's coming after what, so there's no scrambling. Live stream, I've done it. It's not very fun. It's very stressful. And allowing enough time to set up. So if you're going live at 2 o'clock, I usually, again, this depends how big your job is, but even something as simple as 2 or 3 cameras and a couple of microphones, you really want at least 2 to 3 hours before you go live. You want to be, I always aim to be fully set and ready with 1 hour before going live, because this affords you a bit of time to fix things, and that's the minimum, really. Preferably a bit more, because then you can relax a bit and you can make sure everything's in order. So preparation is key. Communication, knowing everything well ahead. Double check everything you pack. Making sure that you have all the gear you need, all the information you need. Yeah, these are the most important things. So you're not scrambling on the day, freaking out.
Yeah, sure. In a sense, sort of towards, or sort of directly towards the client, on the client perspective, they also need to be careful to prepare the password, right?
Absolutely, that's a good point. A lot of time, if you're streaming for someone, it'll be on their YouTube account or their Facebook or what have you. So yeah, ideally you would get the login information from them. The client can always make a temporary password, just give you that, they can change it afterwards. And then from there you can connect to it days before. You can, with YouTube and Facebook, a cool feature is you can broadcast to it without going live. So you can broadcast and show that your connection is stable and everything you're doing works and it looks good and it sounds good. You can check everything before going live. So this is another thing to look out for.
Great. So now we learned how a live stream looks like. What are the big steps involved in making, what to be careful about. And I think the big thing about it is that everybody can do it and it makes sense for everybody. So from the talent that is alone in his room, playing guitar, for example, or playing video games, to a company, medium size or big company, doing an event, inviting some professionals. And the question now is sort of how to get there. So let's say, for example, I'm a small enterprise and I want to start with live stream. I don't want to put too much effort and money in it. What are the steps? What can I do to go on this path?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, anyone can do it, and a lot of people should do it to get what they're doing out there, to get whatever service they're offering or whatever the talent they have to share. It's totally, the audience is just out there. It's a click away. I mean, for a medium to small size enterprise company, it depends exactly what you want to do. But if you just want to launch a product or something, then you could just get a simple capture card and camera and audio input. Hopefully you have a good computer, because this is where it can get a bit more expensive. But from here you can get quite creative, especially if you're just having like a PowerPoint presentation or something, or a meeting, then you don't really need so much. If you're a talent at home playing guitar or video games or whatever it is you're doing, it's even easier. You can get a capture card, a good, decent camera, audio source, You know, you can get started for $1,000 to €1,500 maybe. And it's really not that difficult. There's tons of tutorials online to learn how to operate OBS on a very basic level, even advanced levels. There's tons of resources out there. So it's super accessible. If you want to share something, you can do it. When you start getting to more complicated setups, when you're looking at multiple camera angles and hybrid sessions where you have, you know, people in the room and all audio going in different directions, it does get quite difficult. And when you're looking at multiple cameras with multiple audio inputs and media, at this point it's probably best to consult a professional, even just to have a deeper, someone to work with you on building that system and maybe training you on it. Otherwise, maybe it's cheaper just to outsource and have someone take care of it, because it can be a lot of work. When the setup gets more complicated, it's almost worth going to the professionals, because yeah, they're professionals for a reason. It gets complicated. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's to sum up is care about the camera and the sound. Sound is super important. Yeah. The right cables, and often means also like some sort of capture card to sort of convert this video signal to let's say webcam signal.
Yeah, it turns it into webcam essentially through HDMI.
But then the thing that is pretty crazy in a way is like the streaming is pretty much free. It's like on every social media platform, you can do it for free.
Yeah.
There are some like paid platform to do some special events in a way with brick rooms and all. Do you know some names in a way, or just like
yeah, I mean, well, Zoom, the one everyone knows, of course, you can do basic meetings on it with a time limit now, because they had to cash in on their opportunity. But if you want to do a webinar, for example, you need a Zoom Pro account, or I think maybe even an account above this, where you can have a lot more interactivity and presentations and have more control of your meeting. I think there's another one called AirMeet, and I've seen a couple of other ones where it gives you a very simple platform with a lot of controls to make breakout rooms and to have different rooms that people can switch between. But these services obviously have a lot more coding in it, and it's they try to make it super user friendly. And yeah, still that's sort of the end point as well of all this setup in here. So it's a funny thing with streaming, in the fact that you can do it for super cheap and make it decent quality and have a good quality stream. If your content is good, you can really just get started with it and build from there. But then it can go from free to not so expensive to wildly expensive. You know, it's a complete spectrum of things. And my advice is just to get started. You know, if you're a company, start small, try a couple of things, maybe try a product launch with something smaller, and then just build on it. You'll get better and better, and you get more clever, and you get more ideas, and you just have to get started.
Awesome. So let's let's click on this go live button, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just click on it. Don't think about it. Just go live.
Awesome. Matt, thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
See you around.
Yeah, absolutely.